Looking good, guys.
There we go. I'm drying off this brush after just cleaning it. So, welcome to the show, everybody. It's Paint with Josh. We're back in the studio with you today, and we're going to do a fantastic kind of Memorial Day scene. But before we do all that, let's just take a few minutes or a few seconds of silence just to remember everybody that's given all for all the freedoms that we enjoy. So, just a few seconds. Thank you for all of your service. If you've served in the military, been a first responder, if you're a nurse, anybody that helps anybody, we love you all. And this painting is for you, okay? So we're gonna get out a little bit more of our paint today, a little bit more of our white. And I'll tell you what I've done to my canvas so far. All right, what we've done is covered our black canvas in Bob Ross liquid clear all over the canvas, the entire stretch, everywhere we could possibly get it. And then we took some red and crimson together, right? Bob Ross red and Bob Ross crimson both together. Made our stripes, left a little stripe in between the top one, a little bit bigger stripe in between the next one, and a little bit bigger stripe in between the next one, fully uncovered. None, doesn't have any paint on it at all besides that liquid clear. And our liquid clear is going to help all of our paints drag across. Now, why do we leave it uncovered? So the white from our white stripes and our red and white stripes aren't going to go pink. I've done it before and they've gone pink. So let's get out here and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Anytime that we grab our white paint and drag it across, oh sorry, we put some phthalo blue over in our corner over here, you can probably see that. So anytime we interact our paints with our white paint with the canvas, it's going to light up all of the cool colors that we've already laid down. And in this case, remember, no color, no color, no color. Red, crimson, red, crimson, red, crimson. Then in this patch, I put a little bit of blue. So same blue that's up here is down in these stripes. Now we're not gonna make an entire flag. It's not a flag, a perfect thing. We're just gonna paint a landscape that kind of resembles a flaggy sky, and then we'll have some color underneath for our mist. Be really cool. So let's get out here. We don't want to have too much paint on our brush. Let's not go too far up into that red, right? We're staying very small, very tiny, because the more red that you get in there, the more pinky your clouds are going to turn, right? We don't want them to turn pink. We don't have red and pink striped flag out here. It's red and white, right? So we're very lightly trying to stay away from all that red. Ooh, just barely touch a little bit of blue over here. Now, we're going to come into our next section. It's going to be a little bit bigger, so we're going to need a little bit more paint onto our brush. And you guys are going to tell me where you're watching from. What's your favorite sandwich? Maybe pop up, right into the pink down there. Right? Doesn't have to be a perfect stripe. We're not painting a perfect flag. We're just painting a landscape. Okay, so we got to have some clouds. And look at how bright white it stays when you don't have any undercolor beneath it. Right? In which case, we're going to want to try to save some of the black canvas. We don't want to cover it all up. It doesn't need to be a perfectly, white stripe. We're just kind of trying to paint a little, I don't know, it's just a little impressionistic little flag. Just give you the impression that maybe the sky and such might be a little flag out there in the night, right? Very easy. Now we're gonna come in with a little bit more onto our brush this time. And you can see if you get too close to that blue, ooh, it starts going blue big time, right? Now, one thing we can do is, because it's not overly blue, it is with all the lights, right? All the lights casting on. When you're just looking at it, it looks very black. So what we can do is let's get a little bit of paint onto our little 1-inch brush. I'm talking about a little bit. And let's start to light this thing up, right? The more white that we drag over the top of it, ooh, that's kind of cool. That's a cool idea for 9/11 next year, or this year. Boom, 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 boom. Just dragging it across, kind of lighting up little bits of it. Let's drag it sideways, back and forward. Not trying to really grab our clouds or anything. Just trying to brighten that blue up just enough, right? Doesn't have to be the purest of bright blues out into the sky. And now, even without the lights, we can tell it's a little bluey all over the place. So, perfect. Exactly what we need. Boom, boom, boom. Don't want to make it too bright, right? Because then it's going to be like daytime sky. Now, if we wanted to go in there, maybe with that Paint with Josh rigger brush, I don't know that we want to paint all 50 stars, right? But let's throw a couple, main stars out in here. I mean, One time we did it for 4th of July where we literally like kind of piped in Happy 4th with the stars. But we don't necessarily need to do that. We can pop in a few big old guys out here. Right? Just all over. Right? It's like that cool little thing. And then we're going to come in and throw in just a couple little sprays of our teeny tiny star pattern. Alright, so then it'll look more realistic like a sky, but we'll also have those big old guys that we can focus on out there, right? So I'm talking about just a few flicks out into the night. Very neat. Very simple. Very neat little thing. I'm going to have to wash off that brush. Now let's come back in here, a little bit more white onto our brush. That thick white, not our liquid white. That's some bad stuff. We don't want to make clouds out of liquid white. Come down in here, maybe catch on some of that blue, drop down, come up, drop over here, boom, 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 up into our little bit of red, just a little kiss. Just a little bit up into the red is all we need. All right, now we're going to want to switch to a new brush that doesn't have any paint on it. Never drop it during a live. Let's come back over here and we'll grab this guy. Start to mix it up, right? We don't want it to go down into the red section. Don't do that. It'll start turning pink, I swear. And we're going to try not to cover up all of the black underneath, right? That acts as our shadows of our clouds and keeps everything from being all just white everywhere. We don't need it to be pure titanium white all over. And yes, you have to add the part to the white, otherwise you're not saying it correctly. Somebody said that on Instagram today. I was like, you're right. I'll start pronouncing the H a little bit more prominently. There we go, guys. Little flag sky in just about 7 minutes or less, right? We decide what we want it to look like, and then we're all done. That's this side. We might want to brighten this guy up just a touch more. Right? We don't want him to go pink, so don't go too much up into that, into our reddish color. It can be a smaller cloud up there, totally fine. And once you mix it in with too much red, there is no going back. You know what I mean? Like it would just be pink. So telling you beforehand, don't do that. Don't do that, guys. Very cool. Now, we've done many scenes where we turn this scene right here into an oceanscape. And you do your red, and then your white, your red, and your white, and your lines of water. But this time, we're going to switch it up, right? I'm the only one that's ever done a seascape as a flag. First one to ever do it, only one to do it since. Right? I mean, everyone else has copied my seascapes and stuff, but I haven't seen anyone else come up with an original seascape flag besides your boy Paint and Josh, right? So, this time though, just to be different, everyone else is painting mountainscapes and all sorts of stuff. Let's do one of those too. Let's show them how it's done, as they say. Right? So we'll come out here, we'll grab up our knife just like this, and we have to make up our Paint with Josh black color. Now, what 3 colors make up Paint with Josh black? Can you tell me? Can you tell me in the comments below? Tell me now. Boom, boom. You think I'm lying? Go try to find another seascape that looks like my Memorial Day seascape. Before 2022, when we did that seascape, no one else, because I scoured the internet looking for I was like, somebody must have done it. I've seen 1,000, barns or mountains or trees or whatever. Somebody must have done a seascape with it, and they didn't, except your old boy right here. Your old pal. Your painting pal, old Paint with Josh over here. Man, I just love flipping this thing. All right, let's grab up our knife, grab a bit of our plaque mix, just like that. We don't need too much of it. And let's decide, right? We're going to have to cut up into our clouds, into the sky. Where do we want to have our mountain section? Bang, right? Not worrying about anything that's back there. It is forever here and henceforth too far away to play into our scene anymore. Right? Drop it down in there. A little crazy old section, right? You have to push some of your white clouds back. It's part of the deal. You can't just put everything out. I mean, otherwise it looks like you're stacking stuff, right? Eventually we've got to start pushing. And we'll push some stuff back, slide our mountain off. Now we're going to straighten down all this excess color, depositing it, letting our mountain just get as enormous as it wants to be. Right? Never drop it during a live show. Telling you. Unless you watch enough times, in which case you do see that drop. Shh, quiet. Okay, we're going to take our 1-inch brush like this. We're going to come up here, we're going to grab it and drag it through all those colors, right? Obviously, this plaque mix is going to black out whatever we crisscross over, right? And we don't want to have our mountain all looking the same exact way, falling down the same way, so we have to pull one side, right? We're kind of splitting our mountain. So you can do it either way, right? I normally try to make it like a little C shape or a parentheses or brackets, you know, whatever we're talking about. About half the mountain going one way, half the mountain going down the other way. Obviously, we've got loads of mountain peaks. So maybe these guys are just sheer cliffs until we get far enough away from this guy that then we can start going, okay, maybe they crisscross. Now there's a little valley in between, right? From this guy's peak up to that guy's peak, there's a little valley in between there. All these guys can be vertical sheer cliffs in the back. And all this is just a little sketch on how our mountain's gonna look, right? Just a little sketch. Doesn't have to be like this when we go to highlight it. Never, right? Now, we said, what did we say? This guy was coming down real steeply into our little valley back there, which means this side of our mountain, we've got to grab and pull off to the side. Now, how far do you want it to go? That's up to you. How far are you dragging on it, pulling on that pressure, right? Our 3 Ps of paint with Josh. Maybe it's been a long time, or maybe it's been too long since we talked about the old 3 Ps of paint with Josh, right? What's the number 1 P? Somebody tell me out there in the internet world. What is the number 1 P of paint with Josh? The most important, vital P. That's why we made it number 1. What's the number 1 P? This guy, let me change our angle up a little bit. Pull him over to the side this way. Wow, we can come up a little higher. Boom, boom, boom. So that way his slope comes down like that. And then we got all this side going off that way, connected to this side, going into our little valley over here. It just depends on how hard we push it, guys. Our mountain can just grow and grow and grow. So what's the first P? Somebody tell me. Paint. You guys are right. Paint is the first P because it all depends on how much paint that we put on our brush or on our canvas, right? When we have our knife, we apply all that paint to the canvas. And then, what's the second P? I know a lot of people have already listed the 3 Ps. The second P being pressure, right? How much pressure are we pushing, pulling, dragging, right? How far do you want it to go? It depends on your pressure, all on you. Not me, totally up to you, right? And what's that last P? Anybody know? I debated whether or not to make the 3rd P, the first P, and flip-flop-flop. You know what I mean? I debated it lots and lots and lots of times before I started releasing started talking about the 3 Ps. So we've got our paint, we've got our pressure. What's that last P? Anybody know? Type it in the comments right now while I make up some snow. We need a little bit of blue, a little bit of white. Come over here. Make our little sky blue color while you guys are all typing in the last P of Paint with Josh. And no, it's not pterodactyl, which starts with a silent P if you didn't know. That's why you can't hear him go to the bathroom, because the P is silent. Oh God, it's so funny. All right, so what's that last P, guys? Give me in the comments. Let's see. Let's see it. Patience, that's a good one, but it's practice. Practice, practice, practice. Patience could be the 4th P of Paint with Josh. But how much paint do we have? How much pressure are we pushing on it? How much practice have you had doing it, right? It's not going to be perfect on your first go. It could be. And then I want to take a class from you if that's the case. But in most times, it's not going to be perfect on our first go. We're going to see something that we wish we could have changed or done something else. And that's why we practice. The more that we practice it, the better we get. Right? Somebody said practice makes perfect, but I don't believe that. I believe it's hard to be very, very, very perfect at anything, right? But practice does make better. Makes you better at whatever you're doing if you're practicing it, right? Could be painting, could be motorcycle, bike riding, jumping off ramps. Not going to be the perfect the very first time you do it, right? Now, let's come up here, and let's decide where all our light's going to come from. No one even knows, but you know what? Let's crisscross our blues, right? If our blue's up here, we can put our blue shadows off to the side this way. That'll help please our eye. Otherwise, it looks like all of our blue is on one side of the canvas, right? So, let's come off of this guy over here. Suction cup our knife to the canvas and just drag it, right? Sometimes it grips in different places and misses the whole thing. Depends on how much paint you have on your knife. Number 1 P of Paint with Josh. Paint! The paint that we have up here. Right? Dragging it off very lightly and very quick, right? Not just doing it fast because I've got 5 years of experience and I'm so good. No, do it fast because that's how it works easier. You kind of, this is exactly what we're doing. I'm going to show you real quick. I'm going to pick a clean spot on the palette. We're kind of touching to the canvas. As soon as we touch it, it's kind of stuck there, right? It's suction cupped because if we pull it away, you can see all the texture of the paint on both sides. They want to remain together, right? So once we get that suction cup going, whip it. And wherever it picks up, it's going to deposit that paint very, very easily, right? So I try to describe it in ways that we can all understand and teach you in a way that's very simple. If it's more difficult for you to do, you're not going to want to come back and watch more Paint with Josh videos. That's for sure. Like, ooh, that not anymore. He's too good. His paintings are too hard. How many times I've heard your paintings are too hard? What? What does that even mean? I show you every single thing. Literally every single step. Kind of suction cup it slowly. Rotate the knife as we go down. Right? Wherever it picks up, it picks up. It's not about out here being a robot. Beep, boop, boop, beep, boop. Look at that forearm definition. But it's about having some rotation. Play it. Oh, it still didn't drop it. Oh, that was close. But we still didn't drop it during the live show. Now, let's come out here. Remember how we said we came up with our brush that was a little bit over there? And we'll go down a different direction. Dragging it down, not pushing too hard. Right? We can decide what we want it to look like. How far little shadowy bits go down. All these little things up to us, right? Now, if we came back in with our white, which we grabbed a little piece of blue, if you didn't see that, if I didn't tell you, because I was in the middle of running my mouth too much, which we all know is true. We'll come over here and grab some white that was mixed with a teeny tiny amount of the blue that we created, not the phthalo blue. Otherwise, we're going to end up with the same color right here. Right? So a little bit of that white. Let's go suction cup it up against our thing and just whip it down. How far do you want it to go? Literally, you can have it go any which way you want it to be. As far as you want it to go, as high, as long, as many little details as you want, all these little things, you get to decide when you come up here and paint it, right? So, where do you want your light to catch? Where do you want your shadows to start throwing off? In the distance, right? Here we had a whole little bit of white right up there. Just shaking it on, laying it on a bit thicker, more crazy, right? The more that we push down here, the more you're going to hear that. It means our knife is empty. There's no more fat roll of paint on the end. So let's go back in here. Maybe we caught a little, just a little touch of light, a little squeeb. Right back over there. That guy had a little bit, maybe dropping down. Same thing, not trying to fill in all the spaces in between either. You gotta have those deep, dark areas back there, guys. At least leave a few little places where the light's gonna catch, and then we're gonna have that supremely dark shadowing effect back there. Very lightly, just doing it however we want it. Now, let's come over to this guy. Come off with his side. We had that thing rolling down. We can change the angle. We can do whatever we want. If we wanted to have a big glacial thing like that, come up, grab it on the edge, drag it off back down here to meet our little valley that we had talked about in the beginning. Remember? All up to us, guys. We get to pick what it looks like. Honestly, who's out there telling you that it shouldn't have looked like that or whatever? Kind of crisscross these guys over each other. Back and forth. Makes like a really cool little mountain. Now we gotta have a little piece of light, of course, down into here. And the best part about having the mountains like these, you can project that light up into our blue shadows. Say we came down like this and then came back. And we came up into it again, jiggle, come back again. We're creating new little peaks all the way down that little thing. Bang, and those little guys are flowing off down in this direction, right? Very, very, very cool little mountain, you guys. Magic, right? Isn't it just magical? It literally is. It's a neat little thing. We never have to cover every single piece of every single thing, right? Not every bit has to all be as bright as all the other pieces out there. And all this stuff, it's all gonna get turned into mushy, misty fog by the time we end up getting out here. And I'll show you exactly, nobody saw that. I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about right now, right? We're gonna come in here. we're gonna grab this brush, very lightly drag up in the direction that we had gone down, right? So if we were going down this way, to turn our brush this side and rotate up so lightly. Bob always said like 3 hairs in some air. He wasn't kidding, guys. Literally 3 hairs. So I can show the Facebook camera too. The Facebook and the YouTube and the TikTok camera are too far away. But just a few little bits on the edge. Seriously, a couple little things. Not trying to hit it so hard. We're not trying to go like this and push so hard that we're dragging it, right? We're just very lightly flicking at it. Not even allowing the brush to contact any of the canvas, barely, right? Remember, all of our slopes are going down that way, so we've got to go up this way, so lightly. You don't even have to go all the way up, and I suggest that you don't. As a beginner, please, don't go all the way up. It's very difficult to maintain your pressure against the canvas, and it gets fatter and thicker as you go up, which means your brush may drag up more than you think. So don't do it. I'm telling you now, don't do it. Right? We're going to come in, dragging very lightly against our mountain this way. Dragging up into that snow. Make it real thick up there. Right? Just like that. Now, it's not really as thick as I want it to be right over on our left side. So let me get a little bit more of my snowy mix. And let's drop it down. There we go. Just so we get some more details down in here. Not everything has to be the same. Then you can see the more that we go over it, or even scrape it up, the more you can use it again and deposit it in different places, having it look really cool. There we go. Couple little bits, nothing crazy. Nothing crazy at all. These are just going to be our soft, faded away details anyway, so they don't have to look perfect. Right? Just like that, grew our mountain out a little bit more. All these little things back in here. This guy back in there, right? Now you're looking at it going, well, what about the bottom, though? What are we going to do with the bottom, Josh? I'm going to tell you what we're going to do with the bottom, guys. I'll tell you. Thanks, Lisa. I appreciate it. Remember, guys, this one is available for sale. If you go to paintwithjosh.etsy.com, you can grab it before it's even finished, before anyone else even has a chance. If you go over to my store, it's labeled number 1315, because it's my 1315th painting. If you can believe that, really crazy. We're gonna come out here, tap it in, roll it down, start a little bit higher, right? We started over here, and then we started over here. Tapping it, tapping it, tapping it, creating more mountain. It's just too hard for us to see. Now, all of these guys were coming this way, so we have to tap and drag it this way, right? All we're doing is creating more mountainous mist. It may look random because we've done it so many times, right? This guy now again is going down here, so we've got to kind of take him, tap him in, decide where we're going to leave our little shadowy bits, decide where our mist wants to come through. You can always go back in and add little bits of texture if you wanted to, but the more that you mist it up and mix it up down here, the more gorgeous it's going to look. Woo! Look at that. Oh, digging it, right? Now that we've come to the point of our mountain, that's the closest piece to us. Same as we did over here. We're tapping out to the side, and then we're rotating down, and now we're tapping to this way, right? So we're hitting just the corner of the brush, tapping it out 3, 4 times, 5 times, however many times. Back and forth, just above itself now. Instead of below itself, we're going back above itself. And we're tapping and 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 tapping. Couldn't say it any longer. Once we're all tapped out, we come back in here and mix it up, man. What you want to do? Boom, boom, boom. You get to make it look however you want. Mix it out. All we've done is add a little bit of mistiness at the base of our ginormous mountain now. Just an enormous mountain on this big old Pro Series canvas, you guys. Now remember, what are we all going to go do after this show? Right here, we're going to pop on over to Glitterwix, and she's going to do the most amazing candle pouring show you've ever seen. I'm telling you. If I'm not telling you, then I'm telling you. I told you. Doesn't make any sense. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Oh, yeah. Look at that Dr. Pepper. The Dr. Pepper. Now, in all of this mist, right, the reason that we create all of this misty color down here is so that we can literally take blackish colored trees and pop them in front of all that mist, which will Help them seem like they're in front of each other. Now, what color are we going to use in order to make those trees? Anybody have an idea? What color do we use in order to make those trees? I like that right there. That's a cool one. Soften him down just a bit. Whoop. What color do we use to make Paint with Josh trees? Anybody know? Happy Memorial Day, everybody! Came out to show y'all how to really paint a flagscape. Man, this one's coming out really nice. I like it. Alchemist knows. Tyler Bradford knows. Jess knows. Oh, no one saw that. Seriously. Oh, all right. We've got to mix up Paint with Josh plaque was the answer that I was looking for. Everyone was giving me the ingredients to make Paint with Josh plaque. But the answer we were looking for was the deep dark Paint with Josh plaque color. Now, what do we use to make those colors? Our blue, our black, and our crimson paint. They're always on my palette, always in the same position. Some of these other colors might change from time to time when we go clean the palette and start over. But these guys, black, white, blue, and crimson, all four, always in the same spot all the time. So you'll know, even if I don't say it, you'll know which one I'm grabbing based off of what positioning they are on my palette, okay? So, let's mix up all those colors, and then we're going to come in and let's grab an old fan brush, a rickety old fan brush that you don't really care about, that you want to smash on, right? Same one we were using to grab our, to make our clouds with. You just get up there and mush it and push it and bend it and break the bristles off, right? These brushes, they're $10 for 7 brushes, a 7-pack, right? So, we like to mess them up around here. So, let's come in. We're going to grab some of our deep darkness. The deepest and darkest of all colors as we mix it down, dragging it and wiggling it down. Looks like a perm, or like a weave, right? It honestly looks like a weave. Tell me you don't. Hang on. Let's see how close we can get it to the camera. That's weaving it right there, guys. I'd put that in my hair. Out there. We're going to flip the brush, drag it over, do it again, wiggling it down between all the colors. It basically spreads out all of our bristles, just makes them a little fatter, a little sharper is all. Now we're going to come in and decide, maybe, just perhaps-ish, I know we're going to have some over here, so let's start popping them in, kind of staying into our mist, right? We don't have to necessarily go up into our snow. That's going to really take away and make this a lot harder to deal with, right? It takes away from our distance when we're up too close to our snow. So let's stay kind of perched away from it. We don't need to go side to side. Come down here, popping in a few little bits. Maybe to get smaller, maybe to pop up and get a little taller. They don't all have to be the same out there, right? They never all have to be the same. They don't even all have to be the same shape. What if we took our next guys and we worked in a different little tree shape underneath, right? Taking our 2-inch brush, dragging it up, filling in all those spaces underneath, and each time that we drag it, we're dragging up about 1 billion little treetops that are coming out the tip top of all these guys just from the smallest little bristle dragging through the thing. We go from that very light kind of pressure to our very rough smackies. Up into here, down into there. The more we tap it, the more mysterious it becomes, right? We don't know what's going on down there. Where's the base? How far does it go? How tall are they? We get to decide. We're doing the exact same thing that we were doing with our mountains, right? We were coming out, we were tapping to the edge, going down, turning around, tapping this guy, bringing it around to his side, coming over here, turning our brush, right, rotating it. What are we doing with our trees right here? Are we making it round looking like we were doing with our mountain, or are we just going up and down? You let me know in the comments below, because sometimes I forget how to do it. And if I forget how to do it, I'm sure that some of you guys forget how to do it too. So tapping, bang, right? We're not dragging the paint, right? We're not doing this. We're just hitting it and stopping. Hit and stop. It's basically like, you're basically going like this onto our canvas, like, you know what I mean? Just each time that we do that, we're smushing the paint out and making it softer, right? Each time. And then we have this mist at the bottom of our forest. Where does the mist go? What lives down there, right? We get to choose, guys. Or we don't show anything, right? It could just be very dark and spooky down around the bottom. Now, we've got the same black paint, right? And what if we came across these guys with a different old brush? Let's come in here with that Bob Ross bushy brush. Come up into the tops. Oh, these cool little trees. Now we pop down into our mist. See the transition? Because they're the same color, you must go down into the lighter area in order for them to stand out against themselves. And we pop over a few bits, pop it up over here, pop them down, and a few over on that side, or whatever. Right? We get to choose what it looks like, guys, honestly. A couple little things out in the night, little textury little flower, little tree bits. Right? Whatever we want them to look like. And then we can always go back and highlight them if we want to. We're going to do the same exact thing, except this time we're not going to drag all the way up. We're just going to kind of drag about halfway up our little trees out in the distance, making the bottom of them just nice and flat so that we could come back in with our brush and smack at them. Now this time we may need a bit of our white onto our brush when we come back and make all this misty fog, because it starts to get darker and darker and darker with all that plaque, right? So the more that we tap it in and work it in with all that stuff, the easier it'll be for you guys to see anyway. Tap it, tap it, tap it, tap it, tap it. And this shows you just how much you have to do to get it to blend away or become mist, right? We can't just tap it once or twice with our brush, because it'll look like that. You gotta tap it multiple times, lots of pressure, lots of reps. You ever gone to the gym? Me either. Screw that place. But I've heard the term reps before. No, I'm just kidding. All right, I've been to the gym when I was younger. Fine. Have I been in the last... Okay, I did go once since we moved into the apartment. I've been this year, okay? Been to the gym this year. I got my New Year's resolution down pat. Perfect. Okay, over here, let's stop talking about my gym habits or lack thereof. Anyone else? Anyone else just absolutely despise and would rather do anything else than go exercise? It's just a show of hands. Put the hand emoji up. If that's you, just the hand emoji. That's all we need. Oh, man. Oh, see? Jess, Doug, my tribal art. I'm going to school to be a personal trainer, says Ram. Well, that's good for you, Ramblin' Cam. Okay, I'm out of shape. I'm not overly out of shape. I do got a little bit of I got some love handles and stuff. But, you know what was really depressing? Cam I used to, like, my max bench press when I was, I don't know, it was probably when my daughter was 2 or 3, so maybe 9-10 years ago, max bench press was like 295. I was pretty happy with myself, right? I was trying to get to 300, but I didn't have a spotter, and I was nervous. I got to 295, and I just stopped. So, what's depressing is how far I fell in the bench press category. Like, I can flex my pecs, and they still move in the mirror, right? I get, like, this rippling effect. And I'm like, oh, I'm good. I'm totally good. And then I went to the gym, and I put on 135 just to warm up, just like 45, a little 45 plate on each side. I'm telling everyone else, Cam, not you. You're a personal trainer, right? But everyone else, the bar itself weighs 45 pounds, and then you put another 45-pound plate and another foot, so you got one on each side. I did it 3 times, bro. It was so depressing. I was like, what happened? I almost had to call my daughter. I was like, it was bad. It was really bad. And I was like, I either need to come here more or never again. We're just, that's the trick about it. Ooh. I'm aiming towards never again. We'll just eat less, right? Eat less. No exercise. Fine. Perfect. That's my goal. What about you guys? What about you guys? Let's see. Put a river between the trees. That'd be a cool idea. That would be a cool idea. No, 135 is not good, bro. It is not good. I used to warm up with 225. So I have 2 45-pound plates on each side, basically doubling it. Warm up, do like 10 or 12 reps. Now it's like 3 reps of 135. That's not good at all. All right, we got a request for a river, and I think that's a pretty cool idea. If we had a bit of water or something. Now, what color is it going to change? That's going to be kind of strange, but let's okay. We'll have to put our grass in afterwards. Let's say we had a river come right around the side, hopping around the edge. I got a little bit of blue on my brush, and we're going to come back. A little bit of blue and white. It's going to get wider and wider and wider as it gets towards us, right? So, helping it look like it's getting closer to us by making it become wider and wider. Right? Now, you don't want it to be too steep. If it's on too much of an angle, that's not going to be any good for anybody. Now, I did want to incorporate kind of red and or like pink and blue highlights, red and blue highlights with the white as far as Memorial Day. So let's get a bit of our red and a bit of our white right in there. And we're going to rock in some reddish grass back in here, right? So from our edge, we're going to come down all the way, maybe past the river, right? We don't need to see exactly where the river comes from. Tapping it back up, this big old hill back there. Tapping it in with our brush, going back and forth. Right, we get to decide, kind of working from our pivot point, working it back out underneath, 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 right? We can build our little land. We can just like that. Let's get a little bit more red onto our brush just to have it pop a little bit more with the reddish factor out into here. Tapping it down, tapping it in. There we go. Now, it's not going to be perfect, right? It's just kind of impressionistic, a little bit of reddish hill out in the distance, right? Very cool looking, if you ask me. Very foreboding. Now, we can take that red grassy bit and let's work it towards ourselves a little bit more. A little touch of our yellow as well. Just a small touch. We don't want it to be too orangey, but I do want to change the color as we come in here. There we go. Tapping it down right onto the bit of our grass, the bit of the edge of our river down there. We can tap this guy in, and now we'll have two different little thingies out here in the night. Tapping it in, tapping it in. Bang, right? A couple little bits, little hills, little something out there in the evening time. Now, we have to have a bit of blue in there. I'd feel bad if I didn't have a bit of blue in here. So what if we came off with our bluey grass down, and be careful, it's very close to the color of the water, right? So, I'm going to keep them separated by a little dark area in there. And the more that we rocket it back, the cooler and cooler and cooler it starts to look. Right, and we got a whole other little hill that came down in like this. Tapping it in, tapping it in. You gotta think about it from further away and then let it work its way down to your little thing. That's kind of cool. I like it. I was gonna do all trees and forest and stuff, but I like that. We'll put a big old monster. See, and we're crisscrossing too. That's what I like about it. Do the same thing with the blue and the blue. And then we're doing the blue with the blue side, the red on the opposite side. Just like, for whatever reason, I like crisscrossing it like that. I don't know why. Blame my old brain. It's just what I like to do. All right, we're going to wash off our bushy brush. Remember, guys, we're going to get over to the Glitterwick stream in just about 20 to 25 minutes. They're going to fire it right up. And you guys are going to have to help me come up with a name for this. If it doesn't sell, right, then I quit the business. No, I'm just kidding. If it doesn't sell, then you guys have to help me title it, right? If it does sell, then the buyer gets to come up with the name. You guys already know how it works. So, come up with a title for this guy. It won't be too much longer that we'll be working on him. I'm going to put in one big tree on this side. I really like the openness of it, though. You know what I mean? I really like it. I'm hoping someone buys it so they can tell me not to put a big tree into it. So this one we are streaming to YouTube, and we're streaming to Facebook as well. So you can watch it on both platforms, either or, at any free moment that you have. Usually on holidays and special days, we go live on all three platforms And it just so happened that it's usually on a Monday, which is our normal streaming day anyway. So, let's get that off of there. Why don't we come in? I need a little bit of my liquid white. And let's go a little touch. Just a touch or two. I'm wondering, should we crisscross? Because now this will all be sort of bluey if we add the blue highlights onto those guys. Yeah. I kind of want to leave them. I kind of want to leave them silhouetted back there. Almost looks cooler. So if anything, we'll just get them a little touch, just a little soft little touch of color back here. Little baby bits. We don't want them all to be the same. All right, now try to cover every piece of every tree. Dropping it down. Little pieces, right? Leaving little spaces in between. You don't have to highlight every single piece. Just have little things in between, little bits of darkness. You don't have to see every single piece of it. Over here, over there. Little things. Little baby bits. I wonder if we could draw some, throw some, I bet you we could. Toss some little tree trunks out in here through the darkness just by whipping them up. Tossing some bits of trees out there, guys. What you gonna do when these trees come for you? I'm telling you. Over here, over there, a few little things. Far away, nothing to really look at. Which is just perfect in how we want it to be. Now, we're gonna take the actually we're gonna have to get more paint out of the box before we do anything. Let's do that. Let me get our paint. Where is it? Oh, I go through that whole thing already? Oh, you're killing me. You are legit. You're killing me. There it is. I knew I had one somewhere. There's no way that I can survive without blue paint. So, we always have one in reserve down in the box. Now I'm going to have to order a new one. Even though I just opened up this brand new tube, I'm ordering a brand new one to put in the box for when this one runs out and I forget to get a new one. I'll have it down in there. That's how you stay fresh, guys. Okay, let's mix up a little bit of our... Shoot, we need more crimson too. More crimson onto our palette. That's what happens when you do big scenes. Ooh, lots of paint. Lots of paint, guys. So, let's go over here. Now, you're going to tell me the 3 colors that it takes to make up Paint with Josh Plaque. You gotta let me know in the mints below. What are we doing to make up Paint with Josh Plaque? And in a big enough quantity that we can do this massive little tree that we're going to throw down in the front down here. What do we do? What do we do? What do we mix up? Oh, look at that. It's so much paint right here. Oof! Don't drop that onto the floor. My goodness. Okay, let's go like that over here. Into our brush. What are the 3 colors, guys? Crimson, blue, and black. Let's see. Boom, 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 boom. Just like that. Danielle says no tree. There has to be a tree. There's got to be a tree in there, man. Mary's like, no tree. I don't know what to tell you guys. There's a tree coming. It needs it. It's screaming for it. You guys don't know what you're talking about, honestly. Because watch. It's coming down. It's coming down. Doesn't have to be the most enormousest of all trees. But you have to have something out here in the foreground. At least I do. You can stop whatever you want. You don't have to have anything different, right? Well, let's come into here. Let's make one little friend just to show you how much cooler it's going to look with just one. And then we might do a bigger one too, just maybe to fill up the space. Let's come down in here, pop in a little bit of our darkness. All right, you're already looking at it going, oh, he was right. He was so right. We have to have something to cover up all of that back there, at least. Right? Can't just leave it open back there. Fill it out, smack our little tree branches outwards from our trunk over to the side. Bang, right? Little bit, little tree, right out there. Looking just gorgeous, guys. Just fantabulous. Over there, over here. Boop. Right? Doesn't have to be perfect. Doesn't have to be the most amazing tree. So all it is a shadow in the distance, right? Even that, just that by itself, helped kind of level out the painting and bring our foreground a little bit more into the foreground. Yeah, already love the foreground tree. I know, I told you. I told you you would. Didn't I tell you you would? So it is a representation of the flag in the night, kind of a flagscape, we like to call them. Normally we do a seascape, and that looks more like the flag as you complete it, but we like the flagscape in the mountain. I've never done a mountain one before, so we'll see. We'll see if we like it or not. We almost want one more bigger tree right there too. I almost do, guys. Look at that. Let's add a couple back here, maybe. Just a few back here onto the side. Boop, right back there, living on the hill. And just helping us get a little bit further away from that forest off in the background. A little tree right up there. We'll figure it out. We'll figure out what he wants to look like by the time he gets all done. Living out there on the hill. We're going to decide what we want. Let's do one more right here, too. One more, a little bit bigger. Bang, a little bit closer. Right down there. And then we'll go throw in some sticky trees, too, just because they're so much fun to paint. And with this amount of a canvas, you can fill up a lot of places with some good old trees to paint, guys. There we go. There we go. Filling it up. Fill it up. Cover some of our stuff off in the background, making these the most thickest and up close things in our sky. Literally. Well, in our scene. Let's say that. There we go. Take those guys down here. Smushing them out. Letting them grow. You know what? You can even take, just with some magic trick, watch this. You can have this tree come all the way down from that bit of land off in the background and have him land right up here next to his little pal, like he was there the whole time. How you like that, me? How you like me now, they say. Let's go into here. Pop in just a little touch. Our shadowy bit, just kind of helping it live in the grass back here. That's all we're doing. Pretty much it. I do the same thing on this guy over here. Tapping him in. Just kind of taking away the bottom bristle is all we're doing. Smushing it enough to where it looks like grass. Pretty much it. Tap it down, tap it down. Get our little tree back here. It looks pretty cool. I like it. I like him. Now, I did say we'd do a sticky tree too. Did I say that? What if? Ooh, what if though? Could go on that side. There or here is the question. Zip. Bink. Right on the edge of the forest back there lives this enormous sticky tree. We're going to come down and give him just a couple little branches. Now remember guys, just in about, I don't know, about 12 to 17 minutes, Glitterwix is going to be firing up their show, and we're all going to be over there checking it out. So I suggest you go follow them. If you're not already, go give them a follow, because that's where I'll be watching that show until she's done. Just like that. So what you can do, also, you can go over to glitterwix.com, make your purchase of your candle, and then she pours them live on the air right in front of your own eyeballs, which is pretty cool. You get to choose your colors. It's wicked neat. And we all have a lot of fun over there in the comments. I don't know if you saw that one video of me laughing hysterically on my page. That's because I was watching the comment section on her show, and I could not contain myself. I was laughing way too hard. Alright, let's get in here. Grab up our knife. Let's throw our little blue shadowy bits off the back side of our trunk back here, just by tapping it. Tapping it in, tapping it in, tapping it in. We don't need to have everything light up. Let's get a little bit of our white. Let's tap it into this guy. Into his frontals. Tap, 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 tap. Right? The more that you work at it, the cooler and cooler it starts looking. But you don't want to cover up too much. That's the key. Cover up too much, you're going to be mad at yourself. And you're going to be mad at me for not telling you to cover up too much. And then I'm going to be like, remember that conversation we had during that live? Don't cover up too much. That's you, not me. There we go. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Let's go back in. Let's get a few little spots on this guy that we can call some highlights onto his hood back here. Little touches, little places. Right? Not everything has to be all lit up. Not every piece of our branch or anything like that. So you don't have to work on everything so hard. Okay, let's come in here again. Since we're gonna do white and blue highlights on our tree, why don't we do red trunks? We've never done that before. Let's grab a bit of our red. Right there, scrape it out. Let's come in here, let's pop a red trunk right into our trees. Why not? Red, white, and blue. I like it. What about you guys? When's the last time you ever seen a red trunked tree? It's like that. They don't all have to be in the same spots or anything like that. Now we're going to go across them with a much smaller little fan brush to create all of our little shadowy shapes. So, remember guys, this one is available. If you go to paintwithjosh.etsy.com, you can grab it up and nab it up before anyone else gets it. Before we go post it to 712,000 Instagram followers. Before we go post it to 25,000 Facebook followers, or 26,000. Right? You can nab it up and grab it up right now. Never seen anything like this, Tina? Well, you haven't been following old Paint with Josh long enough then, girl. What are you doing? Get your tail in action. We're going to go a little blue highlights off of our backside for our little shadowy pieces. As we go down, we just start slapping at it a little bit harder. Coming across our little trunk, just a little, right? Because it doesn't have to be perfectly straight down the middle. We go back, load up our brush again, a little liquid white, just a touch. A little of our phthalo blue over there. Just enough to have it become thin enough to where it comes off of the branch, off of your brush. All right, that's all we got to do. We're catching all this shadowy blue light back here off the back sides of our treesy bits, our little boys, right? Now, I would imagine this guy on the right would be in the shadow of his friend, so the majority of his highlights are all shadow highlights. Right? He's only going to catch a bit of light on the tip top. Right there. In which case, again, let's come back to this guy, tapping onto his trunk. Very lightly, start depositing, slapping at it. Very light little slaps. Doesn't have to be hard, right? The more that we slap at it, the more you're going to ruin the texture of all the trees, right? We made them real thick, real textury, so they would stand out, right? If you smack them and smack them and smack them and smack them and smack them, eventually all our texture is going to be flattened out and steamrolled over, right? So let's get a little bit more of our liquid white. Go back over into our titanium white section over here. And I'm like, where's that blue coming from? Guys, we didn't get the brush clean enough. Oh, boo, Josh. Boo this man for not cleaning his brush all the way. And now we've got to get rid of all that usable paint right there. I mean, it's not a whole lot, but we could have used it. All because we didn't clean our brush off enough. Right? You don't want your white highlights to be blue. So if there's any tainting of the blue into our white right here, you got to stop it while you can. Right? Into the titanium white and our liquid white. And we'll come off of that edge of this guy. And they'll be bright white against all that blackish color. We start slapping down. And the more that we go out, the brighter they get. The more we go down, the darker they get. Boom. Just like that. Wrap it around. Got those red trunks shining through, baby. Boom, as they say. Remember, get this one before somebody else does if you're on the fence thinking about it. You're like, I really want it, but I'm telling you, in that butt time, somebody's going to grab it. A couple little bits on the top of that guy. And we'll go back to his little friend. And let's go off of our other corner, just tip-tapping and chip-chapping. Slip-slapping. Over there. The more we go, the more we start turning our brush towards the corner. Boom, 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 boom. We don't have to cover up every single piece, guys. Right? It's not everything. Into our shadowy side, just a few little taps. You got yourself some cool little trees out there, and we kept the red trunks. See that? That's pretty wicked. Uh-oh, it looks like we just got an order. From who? Who bought this one? Somebody got an order. Make yourself known to the world, buyer. Who bought this one, guys? Who indeed is the question? Who's going to come forth? Trees look so awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that. I might do more red trunk trees just because it's like, pow! You get that pop of, oh, I wasn't expecting that redness right there. I might start making that my theme. That might be Josh's theme. Be like, shit, I have so many things already. It doesn't even matter. I've got boom and skidoo, like all the things I do. There's dumb sound effects, and I've got my birds. I've got lots of things that tell you that it's a Paint with Josh painting. Even these trees by themselves, without the red trunks. No one else does trees like me. That's why you watch me, to learn how to do trees. If you want to learn how to do like saggy trees, I'm not the best at them, right? Bram is really good at them. Jeff's oil painting is really good at the saggy trees. Tanisha's really good at the saggy ones that hang downward. It's not me. I like the upward facing ones. They're like, hey, I can hold all this snow. Yes. So, whoever bought it, let me know who you are, because you're going to have to come up with a name for this one. Otherwise, I'll have to turn I'll have to turn off one of the streams. Alicia, over there on Facebook. My goodness. Well, we got a person over here, guys. Alicia, I don't want to say out your last name because, don't know if you want your last name out all over the place. So, our buyer is over on Facebook, guys. Can one of my mods hop over to Facebook and get with our buyer? Oh, look at that cool Glitterwix thing. Oh, I like that, right? Glitterwix is coming up soon, guys. So, it's going to make it super easy for you to follow and jump right over to their stream as soon as our stream ends by having them right up next to us, right? Alicia. Okay, so if we've got a Facebook buyer, that means I need to get rid of one of the streams so I can confirm, and I need one of my phones to do that. So the tutorial is now completed, right? Let's get our birds in the sky, and then we'll say goodbye to the Facebook, to the YouTube tutorial, and then I'll be able to have a device. There we go. We'll go back here, we'll sign it. Sign it down in this corner this time. Zip, zap. Now, if anyone else is in the mood for more flag stuff, I'm thinking of doing another one of my famous flag seascapes. But I don't know. I was thinking about it, but I'm not sure if I really want to do it or not. So, let's get rid of the YouTube stream, and then we'll be all ready for the buyer. So, thank you guys for YouTube on watching. I can't wait to see your versions of this painting. Please send them into facebook.com/official Paint with Josh. I almost messed it up right there. And until I see you guys again next time, take care. Have the rest of a good day, and bye-bye. Boom.